Welcome to my next tutorial. Today I would like to show you how to install your CakePHP application on a real server. Of course, this instruction will be valid also for any framework or for any PHP application. So first of all, of course, you will need to have your application, which I will create just in a second. But what is important, you need to have a place in somewhere in internet to put where you will be able to put your application. So you need to buy it, and you can just choose from 1,000 and millions of offers, and in most of cases it will work in a very similar way. I would like to present it with my my web hosting, which I have on oninc.com. Unfortunately, the main page is only in German, but the user interface, which we will use later, is in English, so don't worry about it. Why I like it? Because they are cheap and they give us really a lot. So for example, you can start with the private or private plus, which are not professional. The premium is much more professional, but I start with this two or one of them because I would like also to show you how to upload your project to a cheap service. So for example, here when you just choose the private service, you will get for €5 a month, so €60 per year, 50 gigabytes flat traffic. You will get 3 free domains, because you need to have domain name to publish something in internet. So here you will get 3 of them, and of course you will need to have their MySQL, PHP. So we have here PHP, we have here MySQL, or here is MySQL. On other services you can have any other database system, and of course you will need to have FTP, and of course here we have also FTP, and I will show you how to use this service only with FTP. And FTP you will have all the time on any service you buy, but later I will show you something more, and this is, for example, here this premium account which I have. Of course, one more time, if you want, you can buy your web space where you want, and you will obtain it, but this is just to present you what you need to think about when you buy something like this. For example, here the cost is €10 a month, and this is 250 gigabytes and then 10 domains. It's really nice when you, for example, would like to put there several services for maybe several clients. What is here additional, what we don't have in the previous, is the SSH connection, which you can make. You can use with this service. And if you really want to do something professional, you must have this SSH connection. I will start without it. Later I will come to this. So if you are interested only in the second part, in the SSH part, just skip the next maybe 20 seconds. There will be a link in the description to the second part. But okay, let's start and buy such a web hosting like this. For example, you will buy the first one, something like this. And of course, if you buy such a web hosting service, then you will have an interface which you can use to manage it. Very often you will have cPanel, which is very comfortable to create everything. In this system we have something different. So you see here is the panel here in English, so you can use it. You can also change it to Polish or to German. On such a service, of course, you will need to have the possibility to connect to the service, and in our case here we will use FTP. You see here I have an FTP client, yes, FTP client, which is connected with a subdirectory of my service. What is the subdirectory? Of course, when you want to put your application somewhere on internet, you will need to have the name of your service, the domain name. So before I started it, I created a domain name. Here you see this LLC info domain name. When I go here to edit, you will see that this domain info is connected with a subdirectory LLC info on my service. So I have there PHP 7.4. Oh, this is it. And if I just go to the browser and just write llc.info, go there. Okay, the connection is forbidden. Why? Because there is nothing at this moment. There is nothing at this moment. So one more time, let's go here. So I have this domain name which is connected with the LLC info subdirectory. When you have cPanel or something like this, it will be really easy to do it. Just you create a new domain, you choose the domain, and then you choose just the directory or which your domain is connected. Not really a problem. So first of all, we have just domain name, which we can use here. In most of cases, it takes some minutes or hours to set up it when you just create it for the first time, but later it will work. And also what I did, I just created an FTP user, which will be able to connect to exactly this directory. And you see in this case, let's just click on the edit just to see what we have. So here you will have the username, you will have the password. Of course, don't try to use it. I will change it or delete it later. And there is also the host, FTP host, which you will use to connect to our service. So before we start with any CakePHP or any framework application, I would like to show you how to connect such a service using FTP. What we can do very often here also in cPanel, you will have it also. You can use an browser interface to connect. Let me just show you here. It will be, for example, when you use cPanel, there will be something similar. You see, this is the interface, and here I can upload, move, delete files, and so on and so on. Sometimes can be useful, but because if you really want to use FTP to upload your files, the application, Cake application, will be just too huge to upload it using this interface. Of course, you can just create a zip file and then upload the zip file and then unzip it here and then set up everything. But before we do it, I will show you something else. So let us use a program. Let's return to the settings. Here, the settings are here. So you can see the server, the username, and the account. Yes. How can I move my files, non-existing at this moment, we'll just create the project later, to the service? So we will need a FTP client, and you can just search for FTP client. Yes, and just choose something. Choose something for your system. Yes, you see. for example, you can use FileZilla, which is nice because it's platform independent, so you can use it on Mac, you can use it on Linux, you can use it on Windows, you can use WinFCP and so on. And so I'll just use WinSCP. If you use another system, just use something else. Just that the way to use it is really very similar. So I will just go to the WinSCP download page, and what I will download, I will just download a portable version. As a portable version, which you can put where you want and use it. So let's go here to other versions, and where is it? Okay, and here is the portable version. You can also just download an installer or something like that. Let me just download this version. Okay, where is it? Okay, it will be downloaded. So after the download, I will go to the directory, unzip, and this is it. This is all what we need. Let me just unzip it here. Extract here. It was not a good idea, because extract here just extract all the files. So let's just extract files and then put it, for example, to the subdirectory, this one. Okay, so I have it here in download, so let me put it on desktop. It works, yes, it works. It is on my desktop now. Let me show you. On my desktop, I have this portable version here. The only thing you need to do is just to start it. For the first time you start it, you see on the left hand side, yes, you see your local user directory, and here we can just set up the FTP server which we want to connect. So okay, it depends. If your server uses SFTP, secure FTP, you can use it. Let me just choose just a standard FTP, and let's go to the configuration which I have here. As you see, the server is this one. So when you have another service, you will see the server, FTP server name somewhere. So let's put it here. Paste here. The port 21 when you use just the simple FTP, 22 for SFTP. Of course, it depends on your service provider. And then let's the username. In other systems, the username maybe will be your email, and then the password here. Just copy it here. Put the password here. What I can do, I can also save it. Yes, okay, let's save it, and then you have it on the left hand side. If you want just to connect, you will click on it. I forgotten just to save the password. Don't worry. Let's try to log in now. Click on login, and the password is, I have the password here. Paste it. Okay. Connect. Blah blah blah. And then what you have here on the right hand side, you have the directory connected with the FTP user on your server. So let me just put there something, I don't know, just a file. Just choose this file here, and what you can do, for example, you can just drag and drop. Okay, and you see on the right hand side there is your file. So let's see if we have this file already on the server. And just to show you this, I will just go to the FTP client in my browser, and I will connect to this directory, and you see these related nodes are there. That's nice. So I can just move my local files to my server. So I just delete it. The interface is really simple. You can use it without problem. So now I would like to put there my my application. Unfortunately, I don't have this application, so in most of cases, okay, here I have on my system XAMPP, and of course when you, for example, create your application with XAMPP, you will put your application in the XAMPP htdocs directory. So let's do it the same, htdocs. Here I have several applications, so let's try to install our application here. Yeah, so shift right mouse click, open PowerShell or CMD, and then create the application. So that's how we create the application. I have Composer installed here, so just use the standard way, copy it, and I will call this application, for example, FTP test, or maybe web test. The name is unimportant. Just click enter and install it. We will wait a little bit here. I will just cut my video here, just waiting for the installation. Just wait a second. So we are ready with the installation. One thing, maybe it was unimportant before for you here. Cake ask or the composer ask if we should, or if it should set the permissions for the logs and cache directory. Of course, we should put here yes, but on Windows it doesn't matter. But it is important when we put when we will put our application on server, because server in most of cases will use Linux, and their permissions are important. I will return to this a little bit later. So our application is there. You see my XAMPP is working here. So let me just see if everything works in the browser. Okay, so localhost, and what was the name? I don't remember. Just give me a second. The name was web test. Web test. Sorry, web test. Press enter and we will see if it works. And yes, it works. Of course, there is no connection to the database. I prepared here a simple database with the name test. You have only products here, and the structure of products is no, just click on products, and the structure of products is the following. I have ID, name, and price. I will just use it in order to generate our application. So let's just do something with our applications. You see, this is this web test. Okay, I will not open it in any IDE. I will just change it up local. Let me open it with maybe Notepad++ and set up everything there. Okay, just go to localhost. Username is in my case root. I have the empty password for root, and database is test. Okay, save it, close it. Okay, refresh. Now here, and you see the connection to database is working. So the next thing will be, I will just bake so the products. So cd web test, and then PHP bin cake PHP bake all products, just to have a working application. So let's see if it works. So let's go to web test products, products. Okay, it works. So I will keep it like it is. I will not delete the pages, the first page. So you will be able to see this one at the beginning. Of course, you can change its roots, but just imagine this is your application and it works. So now I need to put it on my server. So let's return to the Win SCP, to our FTP client. So let's do the following. We will go to the place where we have our application. So in htdocs, and because I would like to install it as a main application in my service, so we go inside of it. Now here, Control A and drag and drop to the server. And this is the problem. It will take a lot of time because, okay, our application is not so huge, but what we have in vendor subdirectory is really huge. So you will see how much time it will. Okay, so at this moment we will need to spend maybe 7 hours, and I have a good internet connection. So I will also pause my video at this moment. I will return when I am ready with uploading all my files. So we are ready with all this files on our server. You see all the files are here on our server. You don't see the files with dot because here is Linux, and the files with dot, also called hidden files. But we must copy everything. So this is important. For example, when you copy files from Linux to your server, just think about it to copy everything there. So let's see if it works. So as you remember, it was this directory here was connected with my domain name. So let's go to this domain name. Yes, LLC info, enter, and voila, it works. Our application works. Okay, there is one problem because we are still not connected to the database. So I haven't presented any database on the server, and of course in most of cases the name of the database, the username, the password will be different. So first let us configure the database. So I will go back to my interface here, to my web space, and I will create a database. It depends what you use in your system. You will have the possibility to create a database, and you set the username and password and so on and so on. Sometimes you will be able to choose it, sometimes it will be created automatically, sometimes you will be not able to create it, but at the beginning you will obtain 1, 2, 3, 5 database user and so on and so on. In this system we can create such users. So, and first of all we will need to create a database. So let's click on the database, then create new database here, and then okay, web, I will just add web test db. It doesn't matter that this is not important. I will just here generate automatically my password. Let me copy it for later, and then just save this database. So database is created. Here you have this database. Let's go one more time to edit, and okay, here we have the database name. Then we have also the password. When you go to the previous page, sorry, just save. You will see also. Let me just save it. No, just let's go to the database back. You see also the username, and the username is exactly the same as the username. So let's copy this name, and we will go to our application and we will change the settings. Where I will do it, of course, on the left hand side here in our FTP client, you have your local environment, and in your configuration here you have your settings for your local computer. You will have something else, yes, on the other side. So let's go to config, and I will just use this client to edit my settings on this my server. So up local, right mouse click, and maybe here we have edit. Okay, let's edit. And what I will edit here, so the database name is the following, the user is the same, and the password. So let's go to the password. What was the password here? Let's go to edit and copy the password. Okay, this is the password. I will also change it later. So copy the password. Sorry, that here where I am. Here is the, and just put here also the password. And now save it and close it, and it will be saved also on my server. So let's test if it works in the browser. Refresh the database, and you see the connection was established, and we are able to connect. So let's go, if we see the products, and you see it works. I can add a new product, for example, car with this price, submit. And you see we have this car in database. So it works, but there are 2-3 problems sometimes. It depends which system you use. So first of all, there are 2 directories. You remember I told you before the end of the installation process, Composer asks to set the permissions, in fact, to these 2 directories, to logs and cache. So what I suggest, it depends on the server. Sometimes you don't need to change it, and sometimes you will need to change it. On my system, because there Apache, which is the web server, works, the PHP works in the CGI mode. Apache or PHP, which is controlled by Apache, work as me. So I don't need to change any permissions. PHP will be able to do everything what it wants. But sometimes if PHP works as a module of Apache, you will need to change the privileges. And there are 2 directories, the TMP directory and the logs directory. What I suggest, in fact, I suggest not to put on the server the content of this element. So before I do something, let me just delete what I have there. Just delete and OK, because I don't want just to change it later. So let me just do it first. Sorry, this is, you see, there are a lot of things. So let me just delete it. Yes. In fact, you should do it first before starting, before opening the page in the browser. And then when you just right with the mouse click, you go to properties. And in properties, here you have permissions. And you see the standard permissions are everybody, so owner, group, and others can read. Execute, it means when we have a folder, just look inside of it, but only the owner is able to write. But this directory temp is a temporary directory where PHP or Cake will put some temporary files which it will use later. And okay, in my case, on this server, my Apache, my PHP works with my own privileges, so everybody can PHP will be able to write also there. But sometimes you don't have this situation, so the suggested settings is 777, so everybody should be able to do everything in TMP. Yes, if you have some subdirectories there, if you haven't deleted as I did before, you can just click here and set this recursively. I will just do it. And the other directory is logs. One more time, click on log, right mouse click properties, and also write. And okay, I just set it. And this is all when we talk about the properties. It should work now on every system. Please don't change the privileges, the properties for other directories. Only logs and TMP. Think about it. You can have some subdirectories there. They are not crucial for the systems. You can delete them, and then they will be created automatically later. So for example, when you refresh this page, let me see what happens with inside of this directories. In logs there is nothing, no, nothing is there, and in TMP at this moment nothing. So when I just let me card 2. Okay, that should be something. Sometimes at this moment there is nothing, so don't worry about it. You will see later this file is there. So as I told you, this is not the preferred way of uploading your application to the server because it takes too much time. And okay, think about it. What happens now when I want to change something? So think about that. You have changed something to your application, and then you should move it to your server. Okay, you can just think, okay, which files were changed, and then copy only these files. But when you, for example, call composer update, yes, you will also update files in the vendor part, and in fact the vendor part is the biggest one. This is maybe 95% of your whole application. Yes, so in fact, to be sure that everything is okay, if you want to upload a new version, you should delete everything here. Just keep two things. Keep from the config only this app local. Yes, in config app local. Then go back here and transfer everything. But if the system will ask you if you want to overwrite app local, just say no, because here you have the settings, and then copy everything there. Yes, it will just take just a lot of time to do it. Of course, you can try to move to that server the files which you have changed during the last period. So maybe one more thing, as I presented to you before, I told you. Maybe one more thing. As you can see on the right hand side, you don't see these files with the dot. It's also called, as I told you, the hidden files. You see here at the top you have the 5 hidden. When you click on it, you will also see the hidden files, and maybe it's better to keep it like it is, just this way. If you want to change it, then you can go, for example, here in this program to options, preferences, and then you click on panels, and you here have here show hidden files. You can just check on or uncheck it. This is one thing. Another thing, okay, before you load the new application, there is also a solution here with this program, maybe. And sometimes this is also in other programs. This is this synchronization. So let me change something so we will be able to see it. Yes, for example, here you have the product. So let me just change something, only a little bit here. For example, in no, just go to template. There will be. Okay, and products, okay, and then in index, let's just edit it, the index, and let me just put here something, okay, I'll just put here just hello. It has no sense, but just to see. So I changed it to hello, so let's go back and just be in the same directory here and the same directory here. Let's try to synchronize. So I will just click synchronize, and then you will be asked what synchronize. Local directory, this web test, yes. The remote directory, this is just slash, because I created the user which I use with this program only to be able to access this directory, and then the direction will be remote, because we want not to take anything from the server and put it to our local directory. Mode will be synchronized file. Of course, we can have some problems if we created something on the server. Then the system will just ask you what to do with it, and you will just decide. So let's try it. Click OK. Okay, the system just now analyze everything on your local page and on the server. So your application is huge, therefore it will take time. If you want to make it a little bit faster, you can maybe, if you are sure that you haven't changed anything in the vendor directory, to synchronize only templates, source, and maybe web root. So it depends what you want. I will just make a short break here, and I will return when it will be ready. So we are ready now. And you see that the system just show us what was changed, and okay, you see there are some elements in the TMP directory, so we don't need to synchronize it. But there is index.php which I have changed. This red means okay, there exists such a file, but we want to override this file. So let me click OK. Okay, one file uploaded, and now I go here to my page, and you see the hello is there. So it takes also a little bit more time, but it's shorter than deleting everything. And of course you will synchronize not so often. But there is another better way to synchronize your data with your server. So let me do it, but before I will do it, I will delete all files on my server just to show you just how it works. I will just delete all these files here. We will still need to use this FTP client, but only for one file or maybe some settings. So let me delete it. So I've just chosen all the files and just delete. It will take a lot of time because the system will need to analyze everything. It will not need time to transfer it, but it also takes some time. I will just wait with this. Let me just minimize it here, and I will present you another way to synchronize your files, which is much more better. But for this we will need so-called SSH possibility on our server, and as I told you before, just all ink, you will have this possibility, for example, on this server when you buy the premium service. You see here you have SSL Zugang. You have this SSL connectivity on this server, so it will be only possible to do it with this account. And if you buy your account, if you want to do a lot with it, just see if you have the possibility to use SSH. If you want only just to test, use the previous method. So we have this SSH possibility here, server. Okay, as you see on the server I have nothing more, so let me demonstrate for you another way. So the way is by using some repositories, external repositories as Git, GitHub, GitLab. So let us do it. First of all, let's go to GitHub, for example. If you prefer GitLab, it will work more or less the same way. So I go there. I'm logged in as me, so if you don't have account, create the account, log in there, and then I will create a new repository for my program. So I will call this repository maybe web test. It was just the name. Here you can add some description or you can set it public or private. If you want just to show other people your source, you can just choose public. I will just choose it private because maybe this is my own business and I don't want to present my code to anybody else. So let's create the repository, click on it. And then you see here you have the description how we can just connect our own local folder with Git, with this repository. If you don't understand at this moment, you will understand it just in 5 minutes what happens. We will use this first part because we will create a new repository. Yes? I will not really use all these lines. I will not use the first line. I will use other line. I will just show you in a second what we will do. So you see here I need to execute the command git, which I don't have installed on my computer. So let it install first. So just search for Git Client Windows 10. Okay. Then you have several possibilities. You can also install the graphical user interface. If you like it, you can use it. I don't really like it. I prefer to use the command line. So let me just open this one and download just for Windows. Click here. It works or not? Just 1 second. There is something wrong. My computer is not so. Okay, let's put it to downloads and just wait a second. Okay, it's downloaded. Just click on it and install it. What we will do, we will just accept all the standard settings. If you have more time, you can just think about it, what you want really. Just next, install here. Yes, there was the old version. Here next. Here next, here next, here next. Here you see here you will install it for the command line and maybe for another programs. It can be useful because maybe you will use this Git with another program. So just choose this one and then just only next and next and next and next. Yes, if you want, you can just analyze the settings. It will just take a second to install it. One thing you see, I have closed the command line because when you install new program which you want later to use with the command line, you need just to close it and open one more time. so the new installed program will be visible. So I just take a second. We will just wait. Don't show me anything, just finish. Okay, this is installed. Close. Oh, no, not close. Let's go now to the place where we have our application on the C drive, XAMPP htdocs, and my web test. Okay, this is here. Let's open the PowerShell. Shift right mouse click, open PowerShell. Git init. The first thing. You see, you need to be inside of the directory. Git init, enter. Okay, we have initialized it. Okay, so the next instruction now. We will not use here git add readme. This will be something which we will use all the time. Git add dot, it means just add the current directory, everything there. Then just the commit. Here you will see one problem, but let me execute it just to show you the problem here. This is just a description of the current commit. So you see here, you see that this is unable to identify the current user. As I can remember, on Linux you will not have this one. Just the system will ask you for your username or password. But you see here, you should, Git tells you, you should just set your email and your username. Let's do it. Okay, and then just set your username. You can omit this global parameter if you want only to set this data for the current project. It's useful when you, for example, use two different services like GitLab and GitHub, and just execute it only when the system tells you about it. Now we will need, okay, and the settings should be done only for the first time. If you set it global and use only one service, then it will work all the time. So please return to the commit because we were not able to set it. So commit, and you see here, you see which files will be added to the repository. Let's go to the next instruction. Because in Git we can have just different branches which set which branch we will use here, the main branch in most of cases. If you just use only GitHub for transferring data from one computer to another and not for working in a group, we will in most cases use the main branch. Okay, and then we will now connect the current directory with the remote directory. Is connected, and now just push everything to the Git server. So let's see how much time it will take. You see here, okay, this is not the time taken. You see, this is, I don't like it on Windows. You see, on Windows, the system just open a browser window and ask you to log in. I don't like it. You can also, I think, press here Ctrl+C and then just give your password, but let me just use this window. So click here. Okay, so I am just I was redirected to this, and then I can just click authorize. There's the setting. Now I will need to set my password. I hope this is the okay. Let's return to the yes. And okay, let's see what we have now on our server here. So let's refresh the page. And you see now on the server, you really have your application. Your application, not the whole application, but this is something what we will do more. And you see here, this is the README, which is the standard README from Cake. In most of cases, when you, for example, want to make it public, or I don't know, to present it in any forum, you should just change this README MD file to present your own application. But I'll just keep it like it is. It's not so important for me. Okay, as I told you, I will now take my application from this repository, from Git, and put it on my server. But on the server, I would like to use Composer. In my case, on my server, I have Composer installed there, but sometimes there is no Composer installed. In all the cases, you will have PHP, command line PHP installed. So what I will do, I will just add to this repository also PHP far to be able just to use Composer without installing it. So let's go to Composer. Composer and maybe far. Okay, download Composite far from Composer. We just download the newest version. There are several instructions. How can I download it directly? Okay, let's just choose this one. Yes, and download it. But now, and this will be interesting because you will do such things very often later, where I will put this Composer far. So let's go to this directory where I have it, copy it, then I will go to my application in example htdocs here, this web text, just paste it here. Okay, I have this Composer far here, but how can I move this Composer to my Git repository? And we will just do it. Using our command line, and this will be like this. First, we will need to use add. Git add, just dot everything. So in fact, we will only add this Composer far because we haven't changed anything else. Then just go and commit. First commit to. Okay, this is it, and then push it. Yes, we don't need to do anything else. So, and because we are authorized, so let's go now to our repository, refresh it, and you will see we have our Composer far here. And this is nice, so we are able to transfer it. And you can of course ask why the FTP transferring took so much time, and transfer to GitHub takes only 10 milliseconds or something like this. Okay, here is the answer. And the answer is, you see here, we don't have the vendor subdirectory. And the vendor subdirectory is 99% of the whole application. We don't have it. But in fact, we don't need it because we can download it from also Git repositories using Composer. So now I will connect my server using the SSH protocol. First of all, we need to have an SSH client, or not client, yes, but also account. It depends on the system. You will be able to create your own SSH or more SSH accounts. In my case, I have only one created by default, so I will use this one. So I have here somewhere the values of it, and for it the server is the first line, the user is this one, and the password is in my head. So we will use this account to connect. But in order to connect, also we will need to have an SSH client. So let us install first this SSH client. And so there are several. If you use Linux, if you use Mac, you just go to the command line and write SSH, and it will work. You have it on Windows, you don't have it. So let us, for example, download a program which is called Putty, and this is just a free SSH client for Windows. And okay, let's download it. And we have a lot of possibilities. We can just download installer, or we can download just the portable version. So let's just search for it. You can just use, when you will use multiple times, you can just use the installer or just the binary twice. This Putty access. So let me download it. Okay, I'll just put it on my desktop. Okay, save. I am on the desktop now. Here, let's go to the desktop and execute this. Oh, maybe I'll just show you from the desktop. It will be just better visible. And so this Putty X file. So we use it in order to just connect to other computers using SSH. It means on my computer I will see an open command line window, but in fact I will be on my remote computer. So the host name, let us copy. This is the host name. So it depends on your server. You will have different settings. It depends where you will put your the port 22 SSH. Yes, then what we can just call it, for example, test and save. Save. Okay, we have this test later. You can use it and just open it. As we open, of course, we need to generate the certificate and login as. This will be our login. Copy. And the password, I try to remember. And now we are on our server. So this is our remote server. Now what I will do, I will download my data from GitHub. Then I will update it using Composer. Think about it that I have, before I created this database, so the database is there. We will have the small problem, but I would just like to show you this problem because it will help you to memorize it. Now I will need to go to the directory where I have my application. So on the server I have several applications. So just go cd llc info. This is my directory. This is the place where my application connected with the llc info namespace. So ls, one more time, there is nothing. There is nothing. It's okay because I deleted everything before. So now I would like to take my repository from Git, and I can do it using the clone operation of Git. So let's write Git, then clone. And now, okay, what is the repository? And let's go to my Git. And you see the repository. Okay, let's go to webtest, the main directory. Okay, we can copy this one, or maybe is there? Okay, let's just copy this one. Okay, just put it here. and we clone, and now it should be all the time when we use Git on Linux. So what is the username? Okay, because my repository is private. It is not private, you will just clone it without anything. So this is my username, and then the password. This is and you see ls. Oh, this is the problem. This is one of the problems, because you see I have the subdirectory web test. No, I don't want it. I would like to have this directory. Sorry, I would like to have all my files exactly in the current directory, not in web test directory. So this is not what I want. I will just use MC, which I have installed here, to delete everything one more time. This one, it was just the first of the problems. So just delete everything here. Okay, and go there. So one more time. Where we are in my directory. So if you want to clone, and if you don't want to create a subdirectory, sometimes it's useful, just use the clone method and then space and put dot, which means put all the files in the current directory from my repository without creating the corresponding subdirectory. So let's do it. A username. Okay, cloning, and one more time ls. You see, we have all the parts of my application here. Almost all the parts. What is missing? Missing is the vendor. You see, there is no vendor subdirectory. So let me now use my composer, and you see I have this composer far here. If you have Composer installed, you can just call Composer. Think about it if you use, for example, on my computer, the standard PHP here is PHP, I think 5.6 or maybe 7.0, but for CakePHP we need 7.3. So when you execute, just think about to use the newest version of PHP. So in my case, I will just write PHP 7. You see PHP 7.7.4. Let's just use the newest version of PHP. Now composer far, and then update. Just load all vendors repositories. So click here, and you will see it is fast, because my server has also a very nice connection to internet, and you see installing it is much more faster. Now everything is there. Okay, and now you think, now I have all files. So because when you see ls, there is the vendor subdirectory here. Yes, we have everything. We have set up before everything well. Let's try if it works. So this will be the second problem. So you go there, and then you have an internal the error here. What happened? Okay, I'll just show you what happened. When you, let me go back to my repository. So I have on my server everything what is here, and plus all the vendor subdirectory. But when you go to config, okay, just let's go there. Let's write this here. Go to config. You will see, or better, you will not see something. You see, there is not this app local PHP configuration, and in this file we had all the settings. This is missing. Why? Because this is of the security reasons, because here you have all your password and so on and so on. You don't want to expose it, so therefore this is not stored on the stored on the on Git. So we need to add it manually using FTP, but we will do it only one time, and when you will edit it, you will edit it maybe directly on your server. But you can also ask how Git knows that this is dangerous to put this element there, and how Git knows that we don't need to push the vendor subdirectories. Okay, let me show it first, and then we will just add this app local, not here to Git, directly to my server. But when we go to our application, let's go to disk, cxamp htdocs, and here to my example application. Here you have something which is called Git Ignore. Yes, and this file was created when we created also the CakePHP application, where we just created it for the first time. And here is described what we don't want to put to the GitHub. If you want to put also some additional files, or when you want to disable, open this file. No, just Notepad. Open this file, and you see here, as these are all the ignored files. The first ignored file, you see, this is this local PHP. If you don't worry about it, this is not I think the preferred way, but if you don't worry about it, you can just delete this line, push one more time, and then you will also push this one. You see, we don't put their logs, temps, and so, and vendor and other subdirectories. If you want to also to remove some parts of it, for example, what I do normally when I use Vagrant with my application, I also put here the Vagrant subdirectories. I keep the Vagrant file, but the Vagrant subdirectories, and so on and so on. It depends, it's up to you. So I will just use the standard things. So what I need my, let's see, go to config, I need this file. Of course, in this file, let's see what I have there, just to see if I have the settings from the, I see at this moment, no, sorry, I don't have it. You see, I have the local settings, so I will keep the local setting here, but I will just edit it on the server to have the settings for the server. So how we transfer it, and this is the only one time when we will use FTP client, our FTP client. So let's go to our FTP client now. Just 1 second. Okay, here I have my WinSCP. Let's open it here. Okay, I will connect. You see, I've set up before the settings here. Login, of course, I don't know the password, so let's go to my area here, and let's go to FTP, and as you can remember, it was the edit. Of course, when you only need to transfer one file, yes, in fact you don't need to use the client. I'll show you just in a second, because in most of cases you will have there also a web client for FTP, which you can use just for short, small files. Yes, so here I will go to my config. Yes, I don't have the local. Let's go to my C directory, to XAMPP. Okay. Where is that? Sorry, htdocs, my application config, and you see here is a local. Just move it here, and I have my local also here. What I can do it here, I can just edit and then just set all the settings. Yes, here the database and so on and so on. So what are the settings here? Let me return to my my account, and you see this is okay. Let's just go to edit to see all the settings. The database name is this one. the user is also the same. In my case, it depends. In your case, can be something else. Okay, this file. So sorry, this is the database. So database is this one, and the user is also this one. And now the password is, which I will delete in a second after recording this video, this one. Yes, and then just save it and close it. Okay, and now let's go to my application, and you see my application is working now. Products, and you see our application works with some small problems, but now it works well. So as you can see, we were able to install our application on the server, and this is much more faster than using FTP. But of course, the typical problem and question is, when I change something, when I just develop my application, where if there is a new version of my application, how I just put the new version to my server. And just let's change something. For example, as I did last time, let's go to templates and to the products index. Yes, I just the index here, open it with Notepad++, and then for example here, hello world. I just add something. It is exactly okay. Sorry, this is the previews. I just have one open here, just not close it, and now save. Okay, save. So I saved this. I added just to the template of index hello world. So what I expect to see here this hello world. But now I would like to put this new file on my server. So I will not need any more, in this case for this project, this FTP. Yes, I don't need it. Let me just close it. Okay, yes. I will need my SSH client. Think about it when you don't use SSH client for just, I don't know, 2-5 minutes, it will just disconnect. So, but okay, I added something to my application. Now let's go with your PowerShell to the directory of your application. This is just this web test. So first of all, I will need to call add. So at this moment it was just one change, but maybe sometimes you will have much more. So so, and then we will need to just describe this commit. For example, new index template commit, and then git just push, or if you don't like it, you can just use git push origin main. Okay, and this is it. So when we go to our Git repository, let me just refresh. Oh no, let's go to the templates. You will see when I go to templates, and then when I go to products, you see the index has new index template, and it was just uploaded 33 seconds out of 37 minutes ago. So this is the new element. Now I would like to just go to my application and just obtain this data. There are maybe several ways, but the simplest way here is to call, when you are inside of the directory, yes, just write git pull. Yes, there is also fetch, but pool will just work here really good. Of course, the username, then the password. Okay. And you will see that what we have changed only the index and nothing else. So now when I go to my application, refresh it, then you see this hello world here. Maybe one information, it works very nice, but for example, when you use multilingual, or you write multilingual application, and for example you add a new language, then sometimes the system will not recognize it, and then you will need to delete the cache. So just to show you how to do it, of course we can use our Ftp client, but in my case I will just use, okay, let me just close this one. I will just go here and I will use my browser based Ftp, and you see here is it. And for example, before I added this config, just let me show you. You see here is this local. I can just upload it using this element, and also here, for example, I have the possibility to edit the file, so I can also do it from the browser. Yes, I can just add what we want. Yes. So, and if, as I told you, when you, for example, add new languages, and maybe sometimes you don't see the changes, just go to the TMP, yes, and delete the cache. So you can, as I told you, do it using Ftp client. I use this Ftp client. For example, I deleted it, and now when I go, it will be a little bit slower, not so slow, and you see the application is working. So what we have learned: if you don't have SSH access to your account, to your web server account, you will need to use Ftp, and when you will just upload your application for the first time with everything. When you make changes, you can delete the whole application and upload it one more time, but the better way is just to use the synchronization possibility feature if you have it in your Ftp client. But if you have the SSH access, you can use PuTTY to connect to your service using SSH, and then transfer everything from your local computer via GitHub or GitLab to your server and just work with it. Of course, when you just execute this git pull, sorry, one more time. Yes, then of course here we don't have any changes, but from time to time you can see that there are some changes in the vendor files, so you should also from time to time just execute composer update. Of course, in our case there will be no changes, so everything is here working. Okay, so this is all. Please try. Of course, you will need to have your account of any service which gives you this web space, web server, and so on and so on. So please try. Let me know if it works. Thank you very much. It is all for today.